Welcome back to the What's Up Eddie channel, Divine Therapy Sessions. And of course, I'm the one and only Eddie. So glad to have you guys back. And these are my Divine Therapy Sessions. And today's Eddie's Love Bug Advice. We're going to talk about relationships in which we are expecting something from the other person, whether that be material. Now, I think this is where all problems arise because... And I guess the informal way of saying this is a situationship, right? Where we're not really convinced that we are with this person because we actually love the person, right? And a lot of the times this happens because I think there's a lot of dynamics to this, right? And I've been a part of not only the other side, my other half doing it, but also for me, right? Where I'm in a state of poverty or a state of lack. And whenever I'm in that state, with anything, whether that be my psychology, that my emotional state, my material abundance, it's always coming from a place of fear. I think there's two categories that everything is just an undertone of those two categories. And the first one is love. And the second one is fear. And undertones of that is pretty much the dynamic. Now, what is a situationship? So, for example, for me, it's because I had multiple addictions, right? The main one that I had that I was using that took me away from the bad feelings that I was having on the inside was my alcoholism, right? But I had to be deceptive and manipulative to other people around me to convince them that I'm not an alcoholic and hide the pain in the mask that I had with me, right? And usually when we do that, there's a wide variety of problems, right? But I'm always convincing the other person that it's their fault or that I'm just having fun. Why are you trying to impede on my fun? And that's just another way of me saying, I'm hurting really bad and I really need this. Please don't take this away from me. But it's also because I'm in a place of psychosis, psychoticness, right? And in a relationship that's never conducive for a loving relationship, right? But because I was in that place, all I can do is drink. So I was always having to use the other person for their financial means or for a place to live. And that put me in a place, not only what does that do, that develops bad habits, so there's a wide, now we just broke open a whole different set of criteria, right? So when I actually got sober, the drinking wasn't the problem, right? It was something that I made the solution for. Now, the problems that I actually had were deep wound issues. And then when I started to address those wounds, then it turned into habits. And then from habits, it turned into implementing the habits. But it's a slow-paced inner work process is what has to happen. But the reason why I bring up this subject is only to say this, is that this is, I feel like a social paradigm that a lot of people, and especially women, think about this, you guys. And I really do enjoy hearing, I think that everyone's an equal, right? I do believe that, like, I don't know. I don't believe in gender roles, and I sure don't like that idea. And I also believe that you think about the time periods, right? From the past into the present, and like how everyone wants to be equal and everyone wants to have their own rights, right? I believe this, and they should. Everyone should. And the thing about the past is that those paradigms, that training, that program that we've all gotten, and especially for women, right? So this is a very terrible paradigm that sets up women for failure. Because if you're looking for when we look in, and men do this too, you guys, it's not just solely for women, but when we're just looking for a relationship to find shelter, or we're dependent on someone else's wallet. What do we have to do? What are the games that are always played? I just said it. You have to have manipulation and deception. And if those are part of your daily life, you're always going to be in lack, and you're always going to hate the other person. And the other person, you guess what you do? You put that person into a level of control of yourself. That's never a good feeling, right? And the terrible part about that is when you let go of your level of, because it is, at the end of the day, what does it do for us? It puts us in a place of self-awareness. We have to actually work. Now, I'm not saying, don't twist my words, right? Like, I'm not saying I don't have anything against women. I don't have anything against men or anything like that. What I'm saying is that when we take hold of our own finances, when we take hold of our own decision making in regards to that, we don't need another person, right? We want the other person. We want to be around their energy. We want to, and usually when we have a positive environment with another person that we love, it's uplifting, right? We're trying to motivate the other person. And it's usually because of the way that we live, our I think our moral aptitude, also our standards. There's a lot of things that attract us to another person, right? But I believe that old programming sets up women for failure. So I think about this in regards to my daughters, and I've made another video about this, but I feel like I've progressed and grown and have had, I've read a lot too about this stuff. And I just feel like I wouldn't want my daughters to be in lack and be in a relationship because the man was taking care of them. I don't like that idea. That is not a good idea for me, because you're choosing from a place of, it's a fear-based choice. That's dangerous. I feel like that's dangerous. And when you are, and you're, so essentially I feel like at the end of the day, we're trying to steal the other person's money at the end of the day. Think about it. They earned it. And if it's not stealing, it's like undertones of selling yourself, right? So, and it gets weird, right? Like, especially it's like, depending on what your personality is too, it's like, you're not my daddy, I don't need you to take care of me. But in fact, you are doing that because it's a situation. It's not based out of love. And when we're finding a partner based on that criteria, it never works out. I'll tell you, every one of my relationships have been a situationship, whether that be on the other person or both of us, but it's always been that way for me because I was always in lack. And this dynamic, this story, this narrative goes for a wide variety of the population because a wide variety is in lack. So it's all at the end of the day a spiritual matter. Not, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're okay on the inside with yourself, you're taking care of yourself. What you're doing in one part of your life, you're going to do in all of it, right? So it bleeds into every portion of that, or every portion or section of your life. So if you have a good spiritual base, you're going to have your finances taken care of. You're going to have your physicality taken care of. You're going to have your emotional state taken care of. And when you come from a place of taking care of your wounds, your inner work, the trauma work, stuff like this, and usually a person like that is not going to choose a person because of how much money they make, right? Because they have their own. And it's harder said to do that, right? But the reason why I make this video is to shine a light on it, because a lot of the times the hard-nosed topics that people don't like to admit, and I feel like it needs to be shined on because this is a dynamic, right? Like, spirituality just doesn't stop with the concepts of spirituality. It is the implementation of it. And it has to be in every portion of our lives, right? Like, you can be a guru and meditate all you want and channel God and channel the divine, or and do all the work that, like, you know, that we do, Reiki, herbs, channeling, but what are we doing behind closed doors? That's the real deal right there, right? Like, what are we doing in our love life? Though that's the major relationship, because right now you guys just spend 10-12 minutes with me each video, right? You don't know what's going on behind the doors. And if I'm living two different lives, that's two different masks. I'm separating myself from myself, right? It's a distortion on another distortion, which isn't my true essence, isn't my true self. So, and it gets really deep, does it not? But if we're in a relationship because of this, we're in lack. So I say this: do the inner work necessary so we can get into a place that we're choosing people who are high vibrational, who are going to bring something to the relationship that's not materialistic, or it's not abundance in any form or fashion. Really difficult, is it not? Because there's a fine line. I feel like there's a fine line. I think that's all I have, you guys. I wanted to shine a light on this subject. Also, I'm saying stuff too that, like, I want to hear your guys' opinions on this. Like, what do you think about this? You know? All right, guys. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. All right, guys. Catch you later.